Welcome everybody. Welcome, I am Ed Cruz and this is the last lesson. And today's episode 23, I think 23. Episode 23 will be basically when you're single and solo and working on futsal. So in years past, as far as working, you would work on the core motions as far as punch, form, and so forth. And I've always stressed that the rolling motion of tan and bang are critical to do by itself, and then eventually when you get to the point where you actually feel comfortable with two hands, do work on that also. But I don't think I stressed it enough, and looking back now, I really think that this is something, like I said, when it comes to training, it's by yourself, with a dummy, or finally with a partner, so 2/3 of your training can be done by itself. And no excuse, even if you don't have a partner in this day and age. And by knowing and understanding the motion by yourself, if you think of it this way, you can't do the motion correct by yourself. You're definitely not going to do it right with a partner. So that's why perfecting it, getting natural, making sure you're comfortable with that motion, you recognize what the feel will be. Then when you work with a partner, you'll be able to reestablish that because you know exactly how it should feel, even though you didn't work with that original partner. So while the tan bang seems like a simple motion when you do it, a lot of times people struggle as far as what should you do as far as single sticky hand motion or double sticky hand motion for futsal, because a lot of times people have, they don't know how to control the motion. Basically they're thinking futsal, 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 futsal. But in actuality there's more to it, and I think this explanation will help you to work on the motion of the futsal and to have a better understanding. So when you have two futsals that you're dealing with. You have a lower futsal and a higher futsal. The higher futsal is dealing with bangsal, the lower futsal is dealing with tanzal, okay? The structure of it and the motion of it, you could say somewhat the same, but yet somewhat different. Because, for example, let's look at the motion first for the futsal for low. Notice tanzal, right? The elbow line is in, right? Elbow line is in. So my futsal is not to be too far out because otherwise I won't support it. So you have two vertical lines running parallel to one another. So the individuals in the tanzal, my futsal, I don't want my elbow out. I want my elbow not forcing in, but actually in conjunction with that individual's tanzal motion. Now, if you look at it from the structural point, when we look at bangsal, the elbow is out. So if I was to go, if I'm high futsal and my elbow's in, that's no good either because it doesn't match the actual horizontal motion that's coming in me with the bangsal. So having it in, it's slightly out. So notice right away from position standpoint, this elbow compared to this elbow has different structural positions based off what they're dealing with. One dealing with tan, the other one dealing with bang. The most common mistake, I would say two sets of mistakes that are common with futsal is one, and actually it's not just futsal, it's all hand techniques, is you're just placing the fuk in place. In other words, futsal is like this. Futsal, 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 futsal. It's just basically bobbing out, up and down. Futsal, futsal. That's a common mistake that people do. Instead of when the motion in itself, like I said, every motion has a punch motion with it. So if you do a futsal, right, my futsal, right, and then high futsal, low futsal, high futsal, low futsal. So from the side perspective, you can see it's not just place, 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 right? From here, high futsal, low futsal, high futsal, low futsal, high futsal, right? So there you can see like 1, 2 different motions. Now, notice this helps you. Like when you do the form by yourself, it's like, how come in futsal I have it like pinched like a swan motion or a duck head motion? Because you're trying to create the tension that doesn't exist with no partner, okay? So when you actually work with a partner, your futsal is much more relaxed and it's just actually aiming at the target or in this manner. It doesn't have to be in this pinch motion. So one way to help you develop the motion in rolling in single stick by yourself is simply imagine you're doing the motion tan against bang, and you're low fuk and high fuk. So notice I use my hand pointing to the target. I point my hand to the target, and then from there it curves. See how my hand curves? And then from here it resets back, going to the target, going up. hand curves, right? So here, curve, curve. Now, why is this important? One, I'm going to the target. This helps you focus onto the target. But more often than not, the common mistake with futsal is this limp wrist technique. Once the hand loses the tension or the wrist loses the tension aiming to the target, your force will be going down. So a lot of times, don't you notice when you're working with a partner, you go, oh my God, working with so-and-so, his futsal is so heavy. His futsal is so heavy on tan when I'm doing a tan, or his futsal is so heavy on bond. Why? Because when people shoot out their futsal, they end up, look at my wrist is straight here, and now it's curved. So they're basically falling on your tan, falling on your bong, and that's the weight that you're basically feeling it. So when you practice this motion, right, from here, futsal, notice this, having this motion here creates it so that my futsal is straight and then just simply curves, right? And then resets again. As soon as I pull back, reset again, then adjust. High futsal. And you have different angles from that too. Low futsal, and then notice the distance. Low futsal, high futsal. Low futsal, high futsal. Notice I'm not going one forward here, one here. My elbow position is basically low futsal, high futsal. See adjustment? And you notice I'm still retaining the V shape within my hand technique. So hopefully this little tidbit or help in how to do the futsal when you're practicing solo hitoride or by yourself will help you out in the future. And hopefully that helps. All right.